Welcome to the Gutenberg plugin for Fire Pro animations. Today we're going to walk through the basics of what this plugin can do for you and how it can enhance your website. To get started, you have to add a block, just like all Gutenberg plugins. So let's go ahead and insert our own block. We're going to use the Fire Pro block here. Now when we do that, we have two options here. We can either use a project template. This lets us use something that Fire Pro has already built on their side, or we could build a new project from scratch, and that's what we're going to go ahead and do here. Let's go ahead and start off by clicking on this checkerboard down here. This is a filler for where your image is going to be. If we do this, we can see that on our setup, we need to set up multiple things about this project. The first being our background image. Let's go ahead and add an image from our library. I'm going to go ahead and use this frequent traveler guy here. So we got our image. Now, immediately, whenever we choose something on the setup, we can come over here to the configuration panel and we can configure that element. So here you can see that I can add a blur to the image, a bloom effect to the image, basically just your simple color corrections. Now that we've kind of established our initial image, let's go ahead and play through the different things. Let's say we wanted to add some more advanced color effects, maybe something beyond just changing the saturation. Well, you can see here that we have a couple of packages that we can choose from. So I'm going to go ahead and just do the duotone effect because I think it's the most obvious of what it does. And you can clearly see we have reduced the colors in the image down to 2. And if we come here into the controls, then we can choose what those 2 colors are. So you can fit this to match the theme on your website. We also have a color grading effect. Now the color grading effect basically lets you choose some very advanced LUT packages or lookup table packages to completely transform the color of your image. You can cycle through all of these however much you want, find the style that you like, and you're good to go. Alright, now I'm going to come over into the effects panel. And this is where things really start to get spicy, they really take off. So in the effects, we can choose any of these packages here. And you can see how they just completely transform the way that the image looks. I mean, you can overlay your lens flares, you can choose glitches, distort the entire shape of the image, whatever you want to do, right? In this case, I think I'm going to go ahead and do with the classic lens flare effects. We're trying to go for a very modern and very sleek website. Just like the others, I have multiple styles of lens flares I can choose from, right? Now, some of them are going to be a little harder to see in this picture just because it is such a bright picture. If we wanted to show the lens flares more, we have our controls we could choose from. So we could really turn up the brightness and maybe the contrast to the flares. It's pretty good. There we go. I like that one right there. Now let's talk about the text. Let's add some text to our animation, right? Traveler. So this man here, he is a traveler. And we're just going to put a quick stroke on that. Maybe something a little bit white. Drag that down here to the bottom area. We have main text, we have pre-text, so if we wanted to have something on top of the initial text, let me do pre-text here. Then we can kind of go ahead and plug in that there. We also have our subtext, right? And of course we can put that right there. So, we got 3 blocks of text we can play with. Now the main text does have a special property, if you're interested in it, called image overlay. This actually lets you take an image, I'm going to go ahead and use this one here, and overlay this image over text. Maybe I can just scale the text up here a bit. There we go. But now you can actually see how we have an image inside of our text. So very cool stuff. Let's actually keep that nice and big like that. I kind of like that. There we go. Just like that. Alright, finally, if we wanted to have a text reveal added to this animation, then we can go ahead and choose a text reveal. And that's going to kind of bring on the text with some sparkle animations here. Really cool looking stuff. But I'm going to go ahead and turn that off for the time being, just because I want to show you another option to reveal your entire project. So now that we have all of this done, let's go ahead and click Return to WordPress. And now let's add a transition. So you can see down here, this is a preview image of what we just built. But I want to add a transition, something that's going to make this reveal onto the page when it scrolls into view. And you can see we have several transitions here. So you have a brush transition. This will kind of paint the whole composition onto the page. And again, each of these effects have multiple styles that you can cycle through, multiple colors. I kind of like that circle one. I think I'm going to stick with that for now. Feel free to play through all of these. I think they all look incredibly amazing. So So let's return back to WordPress now, and let's click the update button. Now with that updated, if we preview the post, I'm going to choose to preview it as a desktop. And there you go, there's our animation painted onto the page. I'm going to refresh that just so we can see it again here. And that's all you need to know to get started. Happy editing.